So today is December 7th. The main phase of the Xculture project is over. So the students, university students, as well as pre-college teens and professionals are now done with the teamwork component of the project. So the practical phase is over. The reports have been submitted. We have received pretty much all of them. We're still missing a couple, and it seems like mainly due to technical issues. So it appears that every team has submitted or is planning to submit a report, but there are a couple of teams that submitted the reports with wrong labels, names of the files, and we cannot match them with the team. So we should be able to figure that out in the coming days. Now the reports have been sent out to the professors. And the way it works is every professor is supposed to evaluate the reports of the teams that his or her students were members of. So this way, if the team has 6 students, that means that there are 6 professors who are helping this team or managing those students. And that means that the report will be evaluated by 6 professors independently. The deadline for the evaluation of the reports is Monday. But my experience tells me that there will be some professors who will be a little late. And that's yet again shows me that when students complain about team members who are not actively participating, I only smile because I know that that happens with everyone. So it's not because these are students, it's not because these are, I don't know, the specifics of the project. It happens all the time. So some people get busy with other things. Some people are just simply irresponsible, or maybe, somebody got sick or things happen. So, but in any case, we expect to have the professor's evaluations, the complete collection, probably within a week or so. And once we have that, we should be able to start selecting the winners. And so the way we select the winners is that we form an additional committee, and that committee looks at the best reports for each company. So usually we select about 100 best reports, 10 per company, and then the committee looks at those reports and then reads them one more time and then selects the best report in each category. So that may take another week or so. Meanwhile, so if everything goes fine, we should be able to fully close the project as far as the evaluations go sometime within the next 2 weeks, plus or minus. Meanwhile, for the students at the university level, they're pretty much done. They don't have to do anything else, although some professors do organize post-project reflection events. Some organize presentations, some organize farewell parties, some organize celebrations where they distribute the certificates and have a nice party. So depending on the schedule, some professors do more, some professors do less. For example, in my own class, I cannot do much because my semester technically ended a few days ago. So we are done with the semester right at the time when the students were submitting the papers for Xculture. So we still have to write the final exam on Monday, but other than that, the students are basically going on vacation. But in some other countries, other universities, the semester goes on, so the professors have a little bit more time to do post-project experience sharing, discussions, and things like that. For the academy students, so the participants in Xculture who are not at a university, but instead participate individually, either pre-college teens or professionals. So for them, we do have a few more events planned or a few more things to do planned before they receive their certificates. Namely, we ask them to submit their reflection papers where they would discuss their experiences, what they learned, challenges they witnessed, and how they addressed them, advice they would give to the future generation of Xculture students. So we want them to look back and spend some time thinking about it. Second, we will try to organize a couple of, probably next weekend, a couple of experience sharing webinars with the academy students, where we will ask them to share with us how the project went for them, what they saw, what they liked, what they didn't like. So, basically reflect on the experience. And 2, for everybody, if everything goes fine, we would like to organize at least some of the presentations for the clients. The big challenge here is obviously that we have over 1,000 teams. And if we asked every team to do a presentation, we would spend like a week of nonstop presenting, not sleeping, no eating, so just presenting. Obviously, that would be impossible. But so what we did ask to do the students this semester is to record team presentations using Zoom or Google Hangouts or Skype or any other video sharing conference that allows you to talk and share a screen. So do the presentations and submit us those files. We will then ask the professors and the coaches to review those files. I don't know, maybe everybody will review 50, 60, 70 submissions, whatever time permits. And then maybe we will select the best who will then present one more time to the clients, to the companies. But at least we will also have some feedback on everybody else's file. And so this way, first students will have an experience, additional experience of presenting. Moreover, they will have an experience of presenting in a team where everybody is in a different country. So, which is quite a challenging task, obviously. But as long as you do this, we will watch your presentation, we will provide feedback, and probably most importantly, we will comment on that in your recommendation letter. So this way you will be able to also tell your future employers, recruiters, that not only have you completed a project in a global virtual team, but you also coordinated your team and you did a presentation at the same time with people from all around the world. Let's see how much we can do there. So as I said, we'll try to give as many teams as possible a chance to present, but given the time constraints, physically it will not be possible to give it to everyone. So we will see how many teams will do those presentations. Other than that, so we already printed the certificates, prepared the certificates, contingent upon your successful completion of the project. So for the university students, as long as your reports are fine based on the evaluations of the professors, as long as your peer evaluations are fine, you will receive your certificates by the end of December. For the academy students, we will still wait for your reflection papers. And for those who do the presentations, we will wait for those as well to make sure that we can comment on them in your recommendation letters. And yes, at the end of December, you will receive a package that will contain your performance review. So basically, we will talk about how you did compared to the rest of the X-Culture cohort, so you know how you stand compared to the others. Then you will also have a recommendation letter. It's a lengthy document, multiple pages, where we in detail review what you did this semester, what challenges people normally in global virtual teams experience, and you probably experienced as well, what you learned, maybe some background information on what students normally, what our data showed that the students normally learn, and then obviously a little bit of review of your performance so that the recommendation reader is interested in your performance, so we will comment a little bit on how well you did. And then in the end, that we either recommend you for tasks that require teamwork, global virtual collaboration, complex problem solving. And for a few students, it may actually say that I cannot recommend the student. Again, it's usually a very small number, but we do have a few students who didn't participate very actively, who didn't show good performance, and obviously I could not recommend them. So that's what the letter will say. And then also in that letter, we will add, in that package, we will add your certificate itself, and then your results of the tests that you took, cultural intelligence and related tests. So there will be also a lengthy document that will show you your performance results, your numbers, your basically test results, but also it will contain some additional information that explains to you how to read those numbers, and then more importantly, what to do with them. So what you need to do to improve your cultural intelligence and related traits more. Yep, that's basically where we stand. The only other things that will happen then probably in the first days of January is the students whose performance was better than that of others will be invited to the upcoming X-Culture Symposium in Singapore in the summer, and the coaching program in the spring semester. Again, those are obviously optional, and you don't have to go if you don't want to. Normally we get for the symposium probably around 400 or 500 applications. So what we do is we invite usually like top 20, 25%. So if we had 6,000 people, we will send out the invitations to about 1,500 people who did better than others. So who are better than the remaining 75%, 80%. But obviously not all of those people are able to come. So some of them are busy at that time. Some of them cannot afford the trip. So some of them will say no. So about 400, 500, 600 of them will apply. Only about half of them will apply. Maybe even only about a third of them will apply. And so from that number, then we will select 150 students, and they will get official invitations. And again, sometimes some of them drop out, like for example, somebody's plans change, or somebody, I don't know, has like summer school or something else and cannot come. And if that happens, then the next person on the wait list will be given an official invitation. And sometimes, in fact, looking back at the events we had in Canada in the last summer, in San Antonio in Texas a few weeks ago, and then going back Miami, Italy, wherever else we did them. So there are always people sometimes who drop out, not because they don't want to go, but because, for example, they didn't get the visa. And so obviously we will then go down the wait list. So some people were invited literally like a week before the actual event because somebody didn't get the visa, and that's what we had to do. Yep, that's pretty much it. So I'm done with the updates. I see we have a few people here. So if you have questions, now is a good time. I'm not planning to be here the whole hour. If you have questions, we can stay as long as you need. But if there are no questions, I guess we're pretty much done with the update. So Bebe, Rachel, Sarah, whoever else is here, if you guys have questions, either raise your hand and click on the, I do a question for you. Can you guys share with me how your experience was? Even though I plan another meeting where that will be specifically about experience sharing. But I see here are some people who participated pretty actively, so obviously we're fully involved. If you have a microphone and a video, can you join us here and share with me how the things went for you this time? I see Bakhtash here. Bakhtash was a coach this time, so I'm curious to see. And Bakhtash, didn't you do it for the second time as a coach? Curious to see how you compare this semester to the last one. And then Rachel, you were one of the team members, if I remember correctly. So if you could share with us how your team worked, how you selected the winner, the leader of the team, if you had one, how you communicated, did you experience any challenges, did everything go well, and if something didn't go well, what did you do about that? So don't be shy, guys. Raise your hands if you have a microphone. Share with me your experience.
2 weeks, given I wasn't seeing much of a lot of activity in the group, I stepped up as a leader, and I said, guys, I think I should have to start organizing things and coordinate the project, because otherwise we won't finish it.
Right, that makes perfect sense. Well, I'm very glad that you were able to finish the project, and as we discussed, some things sometimes go not as smoothly or get delayed, but that's just human nature.
Yeah.
Did you have any conflicts in the team ever? Or something that you would call a conflict?
No, it was just a couple of misunderstandings, because also the messages were overlapping and people were missing also some of the information, especially when it came to the organizational matters. And so, for example, the third or fourth week, I think we agreed on some assignments, and a couple of team members obviously didn't read the messages, and so the things that were completely different from what we had agreed upon. And but we managed to solve also these misunderstandings, and so there was nothing dramatic, I think.
Yep, no, that's good to know. Sometimes some of my students say that they had a perfect experience. Everybody loved everybody. They had so much fun. They talked about movies and cars and whatever else. And those teams, I'm kind of happy for them. That's exactly what we want. But at the same time, again, that's probably first and the last time for them where this, everything went so smoothly. And so in a sense, your experience is probably a more educational one. Like we don't have any serious problems. But a little tension here and there, a little misunderstanding, somebody a little bit late. So that's probably the closest to what those things normally go like. And so this way it prepares you best for the future. Yeah, very good to know. Are you guys planning to go to Singapore by any chance? Did you talk as a team about that, or are you personally planning to go?
Actually, next semester I'm going to Taiwan for an exchange semester. So
maybe you can hop on a plane there.
Yeah, I'll be in the region, so it won't be difficult to.
Well, let's see how things go. But as I said, we tend to be more inclusive at the stage of the invitation. So as long as you did well, and it sounds like you did, you probably will be getting the invitation. And then if you're not too far there, so we'll see how things go. 2 years ago, we actually had a meeting in Italy, in Macerata. So I'm not sure what Italian city you're from, but so we were sort of.
I'm from Modena, northern Italy.
So it's a little further away. And what's interesting, so everybody was very excited about Europe. I thought Europe would be the best location because, it's close for the Europeans and we have a lot of participants. Americans always look up to Europe like something exotic and interesting. So we thought they would go. And then Africa, Asia, not as far as the United States, for example. And we had enough students. We had, in fact, more than we needed, but we had only one student from Europe who came from the United Kingdom. And everybody else, well, we had some local students in Italy there who helped us, but everybody else were like, well, we've been to Italy so many times, we just go there on the weekends, so why would we? And so we had a lot of students from everywhere else, but not from Europe. So this time it's for the first time in Asia. We had one in Turkey many years ago, but that's the first one in like Asia.
Yeah.
So Singapore is easy to access. It's a beautiful place, very expensive though. But so we don't know how it will go. Will we have primarily students from outside Asia, or will we have more because for them it's closer? But yeah, if you will be in Taiwan, so it's not too far, hopefully you can join us.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
All right, well, thank you so much. Please do stay in touch and good luck with your studies in Germany or Taiwan next. So you travel a lot, so.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. So anyone else wants to share the experience with us? I see we have a few more people. So Bakhtash, very good. Bakhtash is our long-term participant. He is from Kabul, Afghanistan, and he participated in X-Culture first as a student, then he participated as a coach, and then again as a coach. And first and most important, Bakhtash, you just graduated high school, didn't you? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, congratulations. I saw your happy post on Facebook. So you seem to be very happy to graduate school. Hopefully not because you didn't like school, but just because it's a new beginning in life. So congratulations on your completion of the studies. So
yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Teres. Well, first I was really happy that I graduated school because I don't like school, but now that I see, I miss school already.
Yeah. Well, as they say, if you think that your teachers are nasty, if you think that, the schedule is too rigid, wait until you have a boss. So wait until you have a real job, then we will know how. Yeah, but
And I already, like both of them.
Yeah.
I'm a part-time employee.
So what are you doing now then? So are you applying to universities, colleges to start it's a strange time for graduation. So in winter, like that's the end of the school year. I mean, what happens now?
Well, yes, I am planning to apply for some colleges.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take a TOEFL test in the coming weeks, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're
there is
continue education. What are you planning to stay in Afghanistan, or are you applying all around the world?
No, I would like to study overseas.
Okay, and do you have a country in mind? Are you interested? What, Europe, America?
Well, thank you very much. You once told me that there shouldn't be any country, there should be colleges that I should consider. Right?
Good idea.
Yeah. So I have a list of those universities, like in Canada, United States, and Netherlands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all three. That would have been my three top choices. I would also maybe look. I lately have been visiting some Scandinavian countries, and I was very impressed both with the quality of education, but also they offer very generous support packages, including to international students. And so again, Denmark especially, but also Sweden, Norway. So there is a very good chance of getting a full financial package to study there. So again, there are several schools where we have X-Culture professors, so maybe they will also help with the application. We cannot influence the decision, so it will be a selection committee that then decides whom they admit or not. But we can provide letters that explain why you are a good candidate. And again, those of us who are watching, those of you who are watching this video, Bakhtash, as I said, I've known him now for 3 semesters, so basically almost 2 years. And so not only can I give him a standard reference letter that everybody gets, but we can say more about him. So we've gotten to know him. And, we see a lot of students, university students. And again, just like you saw in your teams, some participate actively, some are less prepared, some are less competent, less diligent. Well, some of the X-Culture participants, especially those who like Bakhtash, attend pretty much every webinar, submit all the work on time, produce high quality work, often show creativity when they prepare all those, webinars and things like that. And so obviously, as I said, we cannot tell the selection committee whom to admit, but we can tell them many important positive things that we know about the applicant. So in Bakhtash's case, I would be very, very comfortable, very, very strongly recommending him for a university program and recommending that he be given a stipend. And so again, I'm not sure if it's going to make any difference, but something's telling me if he gets a couple of recommendation letters like that, where it's not only saying that, oh, we like him, but we provide enough examples from the previous life, like not from the previous life, but from, from the past, where, like, yes, I know that he will be responsible because for the 2 years I've known him, he never missed a meeting. I know he will do well because he's smart, because I've seen his work and it was very impressive quality each time. So if past performance is a predictor of the future performance, we know for sure that he will do well on the school assignment, on the class assignments, on the, write good papers. He seems to be very collegial and will do very well with other students. So he will probably be one of your better students compared on what we know. And so the hope is obviously that with those recommendations, our students will be able to get into top colleges, get some stipends, and then go on with their education and, future careers. So we'll see how things happen. And again, I'll be honest here. One thing that I worry about when it comes to students like Bakhtash, he is from Afghanistan. And so as you can imagine, some countries, like he will have to go through a lot extra, security background checks than students from some other countries. And to my huge disappointment, for example, Bakhtash was invited to attend the last two symposia, and both times he was not given a visa. I guess the way it worked is, I think they didn't say no, they just never gave you the visa in time, something like that. Is that right, Bakhtash? Like they were dragging it in, and then we just ran out of time. Right?
Yeah, and it was the case with the symposium in Canada, in Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
They told me to go to India just like a week before the actual symposium date, and we didn't have that much time. And they denied me a US visa because they thought that I wouldn't come back to Afghanistan, which was not true. But who knows, like,
well,
they decide.
Unfortunately, the truth is that, visa applications from different countries are processed differently. So some, as we know, countries wouldn't even need a visa. Others would need one, but, relatively easily will get it. And then obviously we have some countries where it's much more strict. And so with Bakhtash, again, I truly hope that for the studies, you will get your visa. And that's what I worry more about. So something's telling me that when it comes to the selection admissions committee, again, based on what I know about your performance so far, I think you will make a very, very good student, a very successful scholar in future, whatever career you will choose, you will do well. But when it comes to the visa issue, so those people, they care a little bit less about the academic performance, and I'm not even sure what they're paying attention to. They probably have their own checklists. And so I'm a little cautious about whether or not, how it will go with the visa. But I think, as long as you apply to several different countries, hopefully first, many colleges will accept you, but then two, at least some of them will not have problems with issuing a visa to a teenager from Afghanistan. As I said, we all worry about the situation in the Middle East in general, and Afghanistan particularly. And I think, I don't know what the solution should be, but it seems to me that people like Bakhtash may actually be in fact, probably will be the future leaders of that country. And so I don't know, helping them with education and helping them to see the world, I think that would be a very good contribution to, fixing things as opposed to, some other methods. But anyway, yeah, that's where we stand. So once you're ready to apply, Bakhtash, do let me know. So as I said, several professors know you well enough over these years, so we'll definitely be happy to write you strong recommendation letters and see how else we can help. So, and maybe you can even apply to our own schools. Like if you apply to my university, I would definitely, see what we can do to communicate your skills and capabilities to the people in the selection committee. You mentioned other countries like Canada, and possibly we will look at other European countries, Netherlands. So we do have enough professors there. So at good schools, that probably will be good places to apply to.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Terrace. Thank you very much. And I have a few questions. I don't think now is the time for that, but
Go ahead.
if you would be so to answer them later, maybe through email or I don't know.
Well, what are the questions? Let's see. Maybe it's something we can, is it something personal or in general about the project?
Well, both. So I would actually prefer an email or, yeah.
Send me an email. We'll go through those messages later on. Yeah, but as I was saying, one of the big goals for Xculture is, obviously our main goal is to provide you all with opportunities to meet people from other countries, to complete a project with them, and in the process, hopefully sort of learn, the challenges, but also the best practices of working with people from different cultures. Equally important, we would like to provide you with opportunities to learn business through trying to solve real life challenges for real companies. Again, some of you, I actually have read quite a few reports already, and it looks like this semester that this quality of work is pretty good. So again, some ideas, maybe a little bit more questionable, but overall the teams did a very good job. In fact, some reports that I've seen so far are really, really good, like really professional quality. But sort of the next level goal is to prepare you for your future careers, education, and especially those of you who are pre-college teams like Bakhtash, who are not in universities yet. We know you will be applying for schools, to universities soon. And our hope is that with the Xculture experience on your resume, you will have a better chance of getting admitted to a top university, of getting a stipend. And so the least we can do is, as I said, write you a strong recommendation letter and help you with that. Maybe, I don't know if there is much interest, but we thought with professors that maybe we can even organize a couple of webinars where we can talk to you about how to select the best university for you, about how to prepare the application package, normally what the university is looking for, what matters, maybe what doesn't matter, and what may even hurt your chances of getting into a school. So basically what you should say in that statement of purpose letter or essay that some universities ask to write, how you should select people who give you the recommendations, how to apply for the stipends and things like that. And so obviously on the one hand, we would like to help you with, just strengthening your resume and putting their experiences that your competition doesn't have. But I suppose we can also help with more guidance for, explaining how this process works and what to do to maximize your chances. So if there is interest of that kind, maybe we'll even organize a couple of meetings where experienced professors will share with you those kinds of things. So, all right. So Bakhtash, anything else you would like to share with us or ask?
I would like to say that this semester's coaching program was just amazing. Different from last semester. This time, Carlos did an amazing job. Like, he was really, really good with everything, with assignments and everything, with portfolio. Everything was clear. Well, last time it was clear. Maybe it's because it's my second time, so I know everything. But I would like to say that Carlos did an amazing job. Karen as well, and Zikil designed that form for West, which is really helpful, and everything is very well.
I'm very glad to hear that, and I will tell you, Bakhtash, that not only are we trying, to improve the process both for the students, but also for the coaching program each semester. But sometimes when I look at how we did things, a year ago, 2 years ago, sometimes it's literally embarrassing. Like, how could we not think about it? Or how could we? So I'm glad to hear that it was better this time than the last time. We actually will have a big meeting with Karen, Carlos, Zikil, and probably other coaches as well, hopefully sometime this coming week or next week. And so the goal is to review how we did things this semester and what else can be improved. And we already see a bunch of things that we can actually do even better. So we'll see how things go next year, but we have big plans and want to streamline some processes, want to make a little bit, update our training for the coaches. So hopefully it will be even better. And again, those of you who are watching who don't know what the coaching program is, we've done it for a few years now. And so it came out of requests from students who kept asking to participate in Xculture multiple times. So we had some students who participated like 3-4 times. They just liked it. And at some point we thought, well, instead of asking them to participate as team members, maybe we can use them as coaches where they can share their experience with the next generation of X-Culture students. And slowly, first time it was very informal, but then slowly it became more or less a program where students receive training in things like, how to give feedback, how to resolve conflicts, those kinds of things. And then they become coaches for the new generation of X-Culture students. And so for them, it's a very good experience. So you get to be a coach, a mentor, a friend, a boss, even in some cases, social manager, a counselor. And so this is a very interesting experience that, first you are a team member, now you're sort of a coach for those teams. And so again, it's a lot of help for us. So we really depend on the coaches on many things, but also it's a good experience for them. And so Bakhtash has done it twice now, I believe. So always doing a very good job too.
And Dr. Taras, I would like to add something else.
Yeah.
I have some ideas for X-Culture that I would like to present it with some samples. So yes, and you had a post on Facebook about YouTube, right? I had that in mind for like a year.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to present it to you with a sample.
Yeah, if you send me something, yes. And again, thank you for bringing that up, Bakhtash. Again, even though X-Culture has been around for now 10 years, and even though we have learned a lot in the process, I cannot pretend to, that I know everything or I know the best way to manage it. As I said, every time we look back, we see that we made a lot of mistakes and some things were not done well. So I don't know how to improve it further. We have some ideas, but you participated in it. And so you probably saw some things that can be done better. And so we would be very, very, very interested in your input and advice. So anything like little things, perhaps, maybe some documents make no sense, or maybe some documents are missing and you wish they were there. But even the big things, we are literally looking sometimes for people to take on the whole directions. Like, for example, it would be nice to have someone who could manage our newsletter. Again, it would be a big help for us. But if you ever think about a career somewhere in journalism or media or, I don't know, public relations management or something like that, the experience of managing the newsletter, it would be a good experience for you, something that you can put on resume, but most importantly, you will learn so much in the process. We also always wanted to have a series of sort of like a regular webinar with interesting people. Again, we can definitely, we have enough connections to invite like CEOs of companies and managers. The problem is we don't always have time. And second, I'm probably not the best person to host that kind of webcast. So again, if anyone wants to help us here and wants to try your, yourself in the role of a radio program or online podcast, host, we can definitely help you with the infrastructure, with the software, with the guest speakers. If you want to organize, a series of, I don't know, maybe programs on a specific topic or, or different topic each time. Again, if anyone took it on, we just simply don't have the time to do it beyond what we're already doing. But if somebody wanted to take it on, that would be nice. We always need help with X-Culture Kids. Again, we sort of know how to manage university students because that's the demographics we work with. But we are not always sure if what we do with the kids is the optimal way. So maybe there is better training, that can be delivered. Maybe we can manage it better once the students are on teams. Maybe something else needs to be improved. Again, if anyone wants to help with those things, by all means, let us know. Let us know. We would be very, very eager to hear your advice. It's better to be criticized and fix the problem than never even hear about the problem and have the problem in place. So if you see something that you either know how to do better, or maybe something that we should be doing and we are not doing, come to us with your ideas. We'll likely let you fix it yourself or let you manage that direction. So as I said, we may not be able to pay you for that. It's just because, we don't really have any source of revenue, or at least not any substantial sources of revenue. But at the very least, we'll try to provide some support and, find a way to make it work so it's good for you, but also helpful for us.
Well, actually, now that I've graduated school, I think I have enough time for this. And it's actually very interesting, YouTube and just the things connected with YouTube. And I think I have lots of ideas. So as I mentioned before, I'm with a
yeah.
And about paying, it's like you've already paid enough, Dr. Taras. You should deepen that topic.
Well, one of the things, Bakhtash, and one, like some of the work we get, done by our professors, by students, I mean, it's high quality, high intensity, work. And in the perfect world, I actually would love to be able to offer some sort of compensation. The problem is that the way we designed the program is that it's basically not only nonprofit, but it's designed to sort of, you know, deal as little with money as possible. And the reason for that is, again, not everyone can pay, managing the payment sometimes is more time and hassle than it's worth. So we do generate some revenue. So those of you who don't know, the universities that participate pay $250 per university per semester, regardless of the number of students, but only if they can. And so what ends up being is that American universities usually pay, but then schools from other countries sometimes do not pay. And so sometimes they simply don't have the money. Sometimes they may not be able to make the transfers overseas, depending on the, you know, the regulations. And sometimes, like some European schools, they just say in our country, education is free, and we just don't know what you like pay for education. So, but in any case, we do obviously raise a few $1,000s, but again, like that's not even enough. So we pay, you know, like a little money goes to the web services, IT support, accounting, advertisement. And so it's like basically burnt right away. So we don't really have anyone on a salary per se. We try from time to time to hire some additional help, like sometimes like emergency students that we need, travel stipends for the coaches, you know, things like that. So we always think about, so maybe we should actually increase the price. Maybe it should be more per university, or maybe every university student should pay, or maybe it should cost more for the academy students. But then we realize that if we do that, not everyone will be able to participate. And so we will sacrifice a lot of, first good participants, but also a lot of goodwill. So now that it's essentially free, many professors are willing to help us for free. But if we kind of turn it into a commercial project, then the expectation will be that we have to pay for everything, because, you know, since you're making money. But then the question is, will we make enough to pay for everything? So it's a constant struggle, but eventually we decided that, you know, we will have some minimum budget and basically rely more on goodwill and volunteers as opposed to paid labor. And I don't know, so far it seems to be working pretty well, but that also means that, you know, if you come forward and say, I can help you, chances are I will not be able to offer you a job. So we can offer some sort of a partnership where, you know, you are testing your, you know, skills and trying to learn something new, we're getting some help. But occasionally I do have actually applications for jobs from students who say, oh, can I work with you? And I say, sure. And then they say, how much do you pay? And I say, well, you know, we don't really have money to pay. And they say, what do you mean? Oh, and then I'm not interested in helping you. I'm like, well, you know, it is what it is. So anyway, thank you so much, Baktash. So then, yes, with all those other questions, contact us whenever you're ready. So yeah, anyone else wants to share experiences or ask questions or, I don't know, observations? Okay, well, then I guess let's stop here. Thank you again, Baktash, for your help and for your hard work, but also for sharing your experiences and ideas with us. And Abebe, thank you so much for your participation here. And yeah, so I'll be sending you an email. As I said, I'd like to organize one more webinar where we just share experiences and invite more people. So probably we'll do it next weekend, and let's see how that goes. And then let me try to schedule the meetings, the conferences with the client companies, so that at least some of the teams can present live. So let's see if it's possible. Everybody's busy, end of the year, financial reports, all of that, you know, going on. So, but let's see if we can do that. So meanwhile, reflection papers for the Academy of Students and video presentation recordings for all the other teams if you want to. We would be happy to see what you have there. It's a good experience for you, something you can put on the resume. We will put it in your recommendation letter, but also the client companies might be interested in watching those things as well. Thank you so much, and yeah, hopefully see you, some of you at least, the next weekend. Bye-bye.